Nature and varieties of stimulus. In the previous video, we have learned that sensation, attention, and perception is there, and sensation is the simplest form of cognition, and it is the impression produced in the mind by a stimulus. So in this video, we will be learning the nature and varieties of these stimulus. So before going to the details, please remember to subscribe this channel. Thank you. What is a stimulus? It is an external or internal situation, event or agent that arise a response from animal or human. So that is stimulus. It can be either external to the organism or it can be within the organism. That is internal. Stimulus can be external or internal. And there are extra-organic and intra-organic sensations. For example, the organic sensations of hunger, thirst, fatigue, headache, etc. are produced by the changed conditions of the organism. And to sense these things, we don't have any sense organs. And these sensations are simple impression of some qualities. And the meaning of these sensations are not known. As soon as their meanings are interpreted, then they become perception. A baby just born will have pure sensations, but the adult can never have absolutely pure sensations. A sensation is caused by a stimulus, and a stimulus is a relatively simple factor in the environment, and it acts upon our sense organ, the receptor of our sense organ. And the stimulus in the environment are external to the organism. And some stimulus are internal to the organism. Stimulus is a simple condition or a factor in the physical world, and it is different from a situation. Situations are complex group of stimulus. External stimulus. Stimulus produce sensation, that we all know, right? And different kind of stimuli produce different kind of sensation. Now we will have a look at the external stimulus. That is the stimulus that are external to the organism. First is touch and pain. It is a stimuli that can elicit a strong reaction from the body. Pain has the ability to alter an organism's behavior. That is true, right? When you are in pain, your behavior will change. So that much strong is that stimulus. Then solid object which affect the skin and the mucous membrane, it can also produce the sensation of pressure. Then radiant stimuli, it can produce temperature sensations like heat, cold, etc. Then noxious stimuli such as cutting, pricking and other injuries, it produces pain sensations. So in this case, the cold, the warm, pain, pressure, etc. are the stimulus. And in visual stimuli, it helps in nearly everything we do as human beings. For example, crossing the street, we need the visual stimuli. If you want to fly an aeroplane, we need a visual stimuli. Here, the rays of light of different wavelength, it produces different kind of color sensation. So, the light waves are the stimuli here. Then, taste. It is also an external stimulus because it is elicited by the tongue's contact with an external object or the food. The food which contains the particle of matter of such size that the taste bud are stimulated and it produces sensation or taste. So in the case of taste, there will be a chemical substance. It can be in liquid form or in soluble form in the saliva. And the taste buds get stimulated and we get the taste. So here the substance that is present in the food is the stimulus. Then smell. It is a stimulant for many creatures. Through the smell, they get either attracted to the food or it repels them if the food is rotten or toxic. And in human beings, the aroma of the delicious food, it stimulates the salivary glands. Then gaseous particle, that is given off by odorous substance, that is unpleasant thing. It affects the membrane of the nose and produce the sensation of smell. So whether it is a good fragrance or an unpleasant smell, it affects the membrane of the nose and we get the smell. The stimulus is the vapor or the gas or whatever particle that is dissolved in the air. That is the stimulus in case of the smell. So the particle that is dissolved in the air. Then sound. It is a stimulant for wide range of species. The sound aids in the detection of other animals or things. The sound waves differing in amplitude, length and composition, it produces different kind of sound sensations. And in case of the sound, the stimulus is consist in the vibrations of the air. So these are the external stimulus. Internal stimulus. There are stimuli within the organism. In the previous slide, we have seen the external stimulus that are outside the organism. So here we will learn the stimuli that is present inside the organism. They consist in physiological changes originating in the organism itself. They are intra-organic stimuli. The muscle contractions in the wall of the stomach, it produces a sensation of hunger. Then the dryness of the palate, it produces the sensation of thirst. Then the movements of muscle, it produce motor sensations. The physiological conditions produce organic and motor sensations. Thus, different kinds of sensation are produced by different kind of stimuli. Then the blood pressure. It is a mammalian internal sensation that is detected by the artery receptors. Then homeostasis. It is the equilibrium and maintained by the physiological process. So in case of homeostasis, the changes in the internal circumstances, that is the stimulus and it is detected by the multitude of receptors. So in blood pressure, the internal sensation is detected by the artery receptors. So that blood pressure is a stimulus. And in homeostasis, the changes in the internal circumstances, that is the stimulus and is detected by multitude of receptors. So these are internal stimulus. That is the stimulus that is present within the organism. Intensity of stimulus. There are stimulus with low intensity and high intensity. The stimulus of various intensities act upon our sense organs. It can be high or low. And we cannot be conscious of all of them. The stimuli of very low degree of intensity, it cannot produce any sensation. For example, a very faint sound, a very faint light, or a very faint odor. They may fail to produce a sensation. So the intensity of that stimulus is low. The point at which a stimulus becomes intense enough to produce a sensation is called the threshold. So at that point, a stimulus will be able to produce sensation. That point is known as the threshold. As the stimuli become more and more intense, they produce more and more intense sensations. When the stimuli become very intense, then they stop to be felt together. They cease to be felt together altogether, and we feel pain. For example, a very dazzling light, it can cause acute pain. Then a deafening sound, a scorching heat, and the biting cold. All these stimulus which are very intense, it become painful for us. The sensation due to the high intensity of the stimulus become painful for us. The point at which the stimuli cause pain, it is known as the upper limit of sensation. So low and high intensity stimulus are there, and it has various effect on our sensation. The low intensity produce low sensation, and the high intensity produce pain in human beings. Now let's see the stimulation in plants, animals, and humans. The stimulus in plants. Water and sunshine. They are plants' important necessities. Light, gravity, weather, and touch are some of the environmental cues or the stimulus that the plant responds to. And in response to these stimulus, the plant's reaction may be either positive or negative. The positive reaction is the growth towards the stimulus, and the negative reaction is the growth away from the stimulus. For example, phototropism. Here, the plant's reaction is to the stimulus sunshine. Then, stimulation in animals. The sight of another animal, particularly the predator. It causes the animals to flee or fight. It is an example of stimulation in animals. The animal's instinctive reaction to the stimuli account for majority of their responses. Stimulation in human beings. Humans are superior in terms of intellectual capabilities, and as a result, they respond to a variety of stimuli in addition to the fundamental ones, like their taste, smell, temperature, sound, etc. The human beings can be stimulated by the sight of a beautiful landscape or a scent of food. Quick recap. What we have learned. We have learned the nature and the varieties of the stimulus. The stimulus can be external, it can be internal. And the intensity, it can be low or it can be high. Then the stimulus in plants, animals, and humans, and how they react or respond to the stimulus. We have learned these things. Hope you like this video. Please share and subscribe. Thank you and keep smiling.